Alright, hopefully this looks good. This is another episode of Levi in the Closet. I want to welcome you all. Just got back from the gym today, so if I'm looking a little more, yoked, that's why. Now I'm feeling good today. I haven't gone to the gym for a couple days, and now I finally did that, and so I'm feeling great. Just trying to start the week off. I got this week off from work, so I'm trying to start that off on the right foot and going to the gym and being productive throughout the week instead of just not doing anything while I'm on my vacation. I want to be productive and still getting things done. I think that's important. So yes, taking time to rest away from work, but also taking the time to put it into myself. Like, I have to do a bunch of packing and stuff. I have to get ready because I'm going to be moving soon, maybe in the next month. Moving to South Dakota. Just a little bit about that. My mom got a job there a while back, and she's been working remotely from home here in Vancouver, Washington. And it turns out they actually wanted her to move to South Dakota because that's where this organization is based out of. So they want her to move there very soon. So it might just be her living there for a while, and then we join her. It might be, me and her going. I'm not really exactly sure. We're kind of feeling the situation out. But yeah, that's the plan. And so there's a lot of stuff that has to be done, I guess. Like, I have to put in my 2 weeks notice, which isn't that big of a deal. Writing a little 2 weeks notice letter. Small things like that I gotta get done this week that I have to prioritize, or else it won't get done until last minute, which is bad. I don't want to do that at all. I don't like doing that because moving and anything like that is usually stressful, and I've been through quite a few moves already in my life, and I don't like it at all. So I want to make it as stress-free as possible. But yeah, with that being said, I want to get right into the video. I got an item to show you guys. In keeping with the theme of South Dakota, I have this hoodie here. It's from Mount Rushmore. If you don't know your, what is that? I want to say geology, but I don't think that's right. Geometry? No. If you don't know your map, then South Dakota is the home of Mount Rushmore. It's got the president's head on it carved out of the side of the mountain, which is really cool if you haven't been there. I've been there a couple times now, so it's kind of lost its awe, it's someplace to go. It's cool, and it's a historical monument, and a lot of people made a big deal about it. Certain heads should be replaced and stuff like that, but it's something that somebody spent the time to make, and a huge crew of people did that. I actually at one point met the last living man that worked on the Mount Rushmore. I got him to sign a book for me when we went there, and that was really cool. It has a American flag hoodie on it here. American flag pocket. It's kind of like a leathery material. I really like it, but it's hard to put on because of the hood is like a material, so it's hard to get my neck around it on my hair. But yeah, my parents got me this the last time they went because I didn't get to go with them. It was a family reunion in the Black Hills I didn't get to attend, but they got me that hoodie. I like having hoodies and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's a little part of my history. That's where I was born. I wasn't originally born in the Pacific Northwest, but pretty much I've lived here my whole life. Now I can go back there and as an adult just see how it is and kind of reacclimate, I guess. See if that's someplace I want to live and settle down. I have a great opportunity to rent a place there. So I'm going to be taking advantage of that, and we'll see how that goes. And you'll see, along with me. Hopefully you can come along with me on that journey, this next this next chapter of my life, I guess. Alright, so the topic of today's video, I originally had an idea, but then I wanted to kind of make it a little more specific to what really makes me angry. That'll be the overlying theme is what makes me personally angry, or mad, I guess you could say, because I haven't, especially in recent times after I've been working on myself and trying to be more at peace, I guess you could say, not like, I don't know, they say that in kind of a corny way now, oh, you have to be at peace with everything and we're all going to be at peace, but really, are you peaceful inside of yourself, and are you a peaceful, calm person, slow to anger and just easy and quick to or I mean, not quick to anything, but just like be rational when you make a decision, and it doesn't always have to take, a long stretch of time to be like, okay, I have to think through this, but like in the moment, can you make a quick decision, a quick rational decision based off of, um, not based out of emotion, but based off of just like rationality and how you think and like the wisdom, like being aware of things going on around you. I've been working a lot on that because also like I thought I was a grumpy person at one point in my life. I also thought I was a very angry person in my life, and I didn't see a way out of that. I thought I'm just going to be internally angry. Like there's a core to every person and who you are. That's where like your like all your motives come from, or where you are acting out of a place of anger or out of happiness or out of sadness. Like who are you deep in your core? For a long time I thought I was upset and depressed, then I thought I was angry. And I guess it's kind of how I've evolved as a person, because now I feel like internally I'm at peace, which is not 100%, but I'm getting even better and better every day, like being more at peace anytime I come into a conflict, not getting too emotional, but just being like, okay, I can be passionate but not too emotional. Like I don't want to get too worked up about anything. Like it's okay if you stand your ground and you say no and you be firm about it and let a little emotion in there, but then don't act out of a place of emotion. Don't make it a big deal and dramatic. Like that's very a beta thing to do, a beta male thing to do. So as a man, I want to be able to be strong and rational. People understand, like, okay, I see how he's thinking, because he's not just emotional all over the place. It's like, I will tell you why I am doing what I'm doing, or why I think what I think, or whatever. I'll give you not mansplain it, because people do that too. Like I have to give you every detail. No, I'm just going to tell you my rational thought process, and if you can get along with that, hopefully most people will, because they'll understand. Okay, he thought about this. This is logical. This makes sense. This isn't just out there. It doesn't, oh, I'm so mad today because somebody cut me off in traffic. That's emotional, but just like, oh, I was, in a hurry, and why am I angry? Like, and then, okay, maybe I didn't really need to get that upset. It's 30 seconds of my life, maybe, like a little bit of inconvenience. Okay, dial it back a little bit. Just pull back. Okay, that was just like a minor inconvenience in my day. I don't need to get upset about that and get mad and all pissed off because of this, or somebody talks to me bad, or if something happens, it's like, oh, I'm mad now. I'm mad. This just ruined my day. No, just, oh, this happened. Okay, whatever. This person's probably not having a great day either. Move on from it. And that's not easy to do either. Just kind of let things go and just like, whew, let go. But that's something you continually, if you want to work on it and progress and get better, that's what you do. So, but yeah, because I did think I was an angry person, but now I think I've worked on it and I'm continuing to work on it. So I'm now more peaceful inside. Like, not that I don't get mad. Some things really aggravate me. Like, that's what I wanted to talk about. I have a couple things that really make me mad on a logical level, not just like a day-to-day thing. Like, oh, somebody says this to me. Somebody calls me like, I don't know. Some guys get really offended and like demasculated by certain things. It's like, oh, you call me this or you say this to me, I'm mad now. It's like, okay, what's your problem? Like, why are you calling me that? You don't know me. You have no reason to judge me or label me as anything. Like, do you even know me? Nobody really does, in my mind. Like, enough to call me anything, enough to label me as anything. Nobody knows me on that level. Maybe a few people, like my mom and my dad, they've known me my whole life, but still, they only know part of my life. They can't label me as a this or a this. It's like, I don't give everybody that opportunity. I don't know, but I digress from that. One thing that makes me really angry that I think it's hard to change, and it's something that I can't really change myself, is laziness. Like, in myself, yes, I can get up and be productive, but when I'm around lazy people or unmotivated people, and I see how they could be using their potential, that makes me mad. Like, wasted potential makes me so angry. People I work with are just, like, even driving around today, I went to the gym. On the way there's so much homeless garbage everywhere, like tarps and tents, and okay, you're homeless, I don't know your circumstances, but if you you're able to go set up a little homeless community, why can't you use that same energy, that same, I'm gonna build this for myself and go be productive out in the world? Like, don't make everything look so gross and dirty and garbage everywhere. Like, even just, okay, live there, set up your tent, but clean up after yourself. It doesn't have to look like a dump. Like, it looks like there's just garbage all over every place and nobody cares. Maybe that's because they get most of their stuff out of a garbage. I don't know. But then, even that, digging through a garbage, you have to get in there. You have to, like, that takes a lot of energy too. So I don't want to hear an excuse from somebody saying, oh, I'm homeless because, oh, I'm disabled. Or I can't do this. I can't work a normal job. But, like, why not? And then if you have a real reason, what can you do to change that? I'm always thinking that. Like, what can I do to improve my situation? I know there's things I need to work on. I'm not a felon. I haven't gone to prison. But I know, okay, maybe after a certain period of time, you can get that, like, expunged or whatever from your record somehow, depending on what you got or whatever. But then why? Like, and there's tons of reasons. I don't know every person's situation. But why can't you make your situation better? Why to live in such a dump or on the side of the freeway, like where I drive, where I see things? This is probably what a lot of people, like, I guess you'd say Republicans probably get pissed on in this subject. Or, I mean, pissed off about, not pissed on. They get pissed off about my money that I earn at my job. I pay taxes off of that. I pay taxes when I go get food, when I go, like at the grocery store, like when I go to the grocery store, when I go any place, when I, anything that I buy with the money that I work for gets taxed. And even at my job gets taxed. Having a house, your property gets taxed. All these things you get taxed. And that's supposed to go into, maintaining property, maintaining the street, maintaining cleanliness in your community, like pay for the police, whatever. All these things I'm essentially paying for. My coworkers are essentially paying for. My parents, my neighbors, we're all paying for these things. But then why should somebody out there just get to live on the side of the road for free? Like, yeah, that's not the greatest condition. Okay, like, oh, well, they just want to live on the side of the road. Just leave them be. Well, I have to see that all the time, or at least respect it. Like, respect what I'm paying for, I like my items to be respected. If I loan anything to somebody, I expect them to take care of it like it's their own. Not use it, drop it, it's a piece of junk, and then they hand it back to me and they go, here you go. And it's like in two pieces and like broken and, or used, like something that I can never do again. You never use again. Like, it's going to take a group of people, if that person ever left and didn't clean up after themselves, to re-clean up that area, rehabilitate the area, I guess, to make it look like it was before that person was living there. Because I see this all over the place, and it's like slowly over the years in Vancouver, which is normally like people that have money live in downtown Vancouver, like they can afford to live there. And then there's like that extreme of like people that make enough money to live here, but then there's also people that don't make anything or they're homeless. And it's like, okay, nice houses, expensive places to live, and then homeless people right there on the side of the freeway as you're going home, or like shopping carts everywhere. I don't know, just that really pisses me off, homelessness. And I don't mind that, because at one point I was planning to be homeless or like nomadic, like I have my stuff with me, but I would respect where I was living. Like, I wouldn't just leave garbage, or like it wouldn't look like apocalyptic or something. Like, it doesn't, I don't know, but that really pisses me off. Laziness, a waste of energy. Like, what are you doing to to help your community? Like, okay, your homeless community, cool, but then go live somewhere else. I don't know. And I can see in my mind the solution I thought of, if somehow we could justify paying for them to have a place to live, like excuse me, if we could justify them having a place to live, like actual homeless camps like there are in some places, but we just buy this land, or like the government buys it, whoever buys it, somebody donates it, here's this big amount of property, we have, 3 times a day, like almost like prison, but for homeless people. And I don't know what that would be like, if you could rehabilitate people through that way, but on a large scale, not just like small homeless shelters, but like, I don't know, and I don't know if this is the thing yet either, because people might think, oh, like the quality of life, like you can't just put a bunch of people Well, why not? They live that way on their own. They live in the dumpiest of conditions. Why not put them in a fenced off area, not terrible, but like, okay, they can live here. You can do whatever you want to do. If you end up dying from a drug overdose, whatever, we'll take care of it, clean that up. Like, I don't know. That's a little extreme. But, that's basically what they want to do anyway, just live on their own and whatever. So let's just, okay, we want to take care of all that, just put them here, like in District 9 or whatever in that movie. All the aliens are going to go live in the ghetto, and then all the other people can go live their life in the city or wherever they're living. Like, here's where you live, here's where we live. You want to live your life this way, we want to live our life this way. We don't want to see your garbage and your gunk and be offended every time we step out of the door. We want to live in, like, people take care of their lawns, and people want to have, well-kept stuff. Like, I hate driving on the street when there's potholes. That another thing that makes me angry, like, just not seeing things kept up that I know could be, like, why not just do that? There's been places that have terrible roads, and it's been, the whole time I've lived in Vancouver, never fixed them. Why is that? I don't know. Okay, so that's kind of like my one thing that makes me angry, laziness. The second thing that makes me angry, I'd say, is when people take my words and twist them, or like, I know it's hard, like, for me to communicate. I'm very simple in what I say, and I can't expect everybody to understand. Maybe I mean it on a deeper level, or if I say something like, I don't know, I don't want somebody to take my words and think, oh, I don't like this at all. Or like, if I say, no, I don't want this today. Well, that doesn't mean tomorrow I might not want it, or you're like, oh, well, I thought you didn't like this at all. You didn't want, I don't know, like, to eat, like, I'm thinking, like, food-wise, like, oh, you didn't want pizza. You said you don't like pizza. No, I said I didn't want pizza, but now maybe I am now, like, the next day, now I am in the mood for pizza. But you think because I said, no, I don't want it, that automatically now I don't like it. Like, somebody take my words. And that's a very simple example, but there's things like that. I'm just like, how can you not understand what I'm trying to say to you? And then that kind of, I've worked on that. Like, okay, if I just need to work on my communication skills, I just need to be able to convey this a little bit better to them so that there's no doubt in their mind, like, what I'm saying. Not like I don't understand what they're saying, or they don't understand what I'm saying, because it's just hard. Like, communication is hard. But how can I, in my own life, how can I work on that so that there's no communication errors, and essentially that'll make me less angry? Like, I'll get less frustrated if I can just say what I need to say, and the other person's like, oh, okay, I understand, there's no question there. But also I don't want to go into mansplaining. Like, I don't want to have to go super into detail every time I say something. Like, I just want to be able to say it. Like, I don't like driving. I don't like driving at all. So it's like, oh, well, for a date or something, if a girl comes and picks me up all the time, and she's like, oh, well, you don't want to come pick me up? No, I just don't like driving. Like, I said that I don't like driving, so I'd rather you come pick me up, but I don't have a problem with driving. I just prefer not to drive. Something like that. I don't know. I can't think of very many specific examples that I've really gotten in any, like, oh yeah, okay, well, about this move thing. Talking to my parents, they're saying I have a lot less stress to deal with because I don't have to deal with, like, expenses and certain things like that, but I do kind of. Like, I have to find a job and, like, a way to live and provide for myself. I have, I have to pay for groceries. I already pay for my phone, gym membership, a car, internet, rent, probably utilities. That's at least 7 things I can think of right now. And then, like, packing, and, like, how am I going to get all my stuff there? That's, like, 9 things that I have on my mind. It's like, oh, what do I do? And my dad said something about, like, you don't understand. There's nothing you have to stress about. And I'm like, I do understand. I have a lot to stress about. I just told you, like, I just told you 9 things. I just listed them. And those are things I stress about. That's things that I'm worrying about. And he said, no, you don't have to worry about those things. I just told you why. I gave you good reasons why. But you're telling me I don't have to worry. Like, I do get that. Like, why worry about anything? Why does anybody worry about anything? You don't even have to. Like, that's just like a way of thinking, I guess. But then he's telling me, like, no, you don't understand. I'm like, I do understand, and now you're kind of making me angry by telling me I don't, because I do. And then you're telling me how you think I think, if that makes sense. The way you think, I'm thinking, and then you're trying to like correct me. No, I see everything in panoramic view, you know. Because I'm a deep thinker, I think about things a lot, so it's like I can understand everybody's perspective. I see all the problems here. I see all the stress here. That makes me stressed. But that doesn't mean I have nothing to worry about. Like, I don't know. That did end up becoming a little thing. Like, my blood pressure got up and my voice went up. And then we were kind of talking about that. Like, it's not like either of us are mad at each other. We just are very passionate. And so I think also that, just correcting that, like, I'm, like what I said before, deep in the center, it's like, I'm not an angry person, I'm a passionate person. I have a lot of passion in what I say, and like if I'm passionate about something or I feel passionate about something, then yeah, and then sometimes if I'm confronted on that, or like if somebody says something to like go against what I'm saying, then yeah, I will get a little emotional about it because I'm passionate. But then also, like I said, dialing that back a little bit, not getting too emotional, but having that passion there. Like, I can use that for good. It's not just anger, it's passion. Because passion can be good or bad, or it's kind of a neutral tool. Like, anger usually has a negative connotation to it. Like, anger is bad, and you don't want to be angry, and people that are angry are toxic, and people that are angry, they don't know how to deal with life, or they have, bad relationships. Well, yeah, that's kind of true. Passionate people should be able to elevate others. You should be able to, like, pour your passion into what you say so that people know that you care about it, but not so much it's like, whoa, like, why did they, like, what triggered you? Like, a trigger, because sometimes that's a little like, oh man, that person, like, real passionate, you know what I mean? Like, they are getting a little crazy, like swearing and stuff. Like, I know a couple people like that, and it's true. Like, they're just passionate people, but also you have to learn that kind of restraint. Like, if I just said whatever I wanted to say, there's nothing wrong with that. But also, like, who are you around? You might offend somebody. I don't know. It's kind of finding the balance, because really it's like, I don't care if I offend anybody with what I say. I don't care if you don't agree with what I believe, or you don't like what I have to say, but I'm not going to, yell and scream and stand up on my, yell down at somebody. That's not the way I want to communicate, and that's not healthy. That's not anything anybody wants to hear. Nobody wants to listen to somebody scream and yell and get upset about something. They want to know, or even just, you got to flip it to that people are attracted to it. Like, I don't know. That's kind of like spin, or like, what is that? Yeah, like spin. Like, you got to be able to spin things. Like, your talk game has to be good. Like, convincing somebody to go on a date with you, or like, like, it's all connected. Like, how you handle other people. How do you conduct business? Like, if I want to get somebody invested into my project or what I believe, I have to be able to spin it so it's like, oh yeah, I love that. That's such a good idea. Oh, and then you already have this in your brain. You're like, okay, I know all the trickle down. Like, here's the big thing I want to do, but here's all the different applications I could use it for. You're ready with that. Then you get the other. That's like a tool. Like, you might already know that, maybe not, but like, you get the other person to think that it's their idea. You have it in your mind. You're like, I'm ready. I'm gonna sell this person on it. But you're not like, well, I want to offer you this, and here's this. No, you're just like, all right, I got this great idea, and here's how we can do this and this and this. And then, like when you're with your friends and you're like, oh man, and you're excited. You're like, oh yeah, and then you can do this, and then we can do this, and then we can do this. Like, that's passion right there, because it's like your emotions are stirred up, and it's not regimented as much. But then also not just like not having a plan at all, and just being like, oh, what about this? What about this? Like, that's how it seems like some TV shows are made. Like, people don't really care as much about the whole plot of the show. They just want to have, like, oh, some zany thing happens. Some crazy thing happens. What's going to be unexpected? What are people going to laugh about? Like, no. that's not how you make a good TV show or anything. It has to have a somewhat looseness that it's like, okay, we can change it as we go along, see how audiences react to it, but then also we have a plan. Like, here's the beginning, here's the end. Like Breaking Bad, they probably already had the beginning and the end figured out. It's like, how do we fill in this part so that people are still engaged and how they're excited and like, what's gonna happen? Oh man, maybe it could be this. People, making predictions, people doing all this stuff. That's what it's all about, getting people invested into what you are passionate about. So it's not just, it's all aspects in life that come together for this. It's not just, oh, I'm, like I was talking about being angry. Or what am I angry about? Well, you take anger, turn it into passion, and it can become something totally different. You just gotta have that positive mindset. And I don't know. Yeah, and it's really just that simple. I don't know. I want to be able to have three things. Those are the two things that were on my mind that I'm really, that really make me angry. A third thing, maybe it's not so much angry, but it's kind of a pet peeve of mine that when people ask me to do things, like when I'm at work, they'll be like, oh, do you want to do this? Or, Levi, can you do this? Like, I hear that all the time, and yeah, a lot of people give that example of like when you're in class and you're like, can I use the bathroom? The teacher's like, well, can you? What are you supposed to say? Like, in that situation, you can't just be like, I'm going to the bathroom, like I would, or like not even say anything. Like, they expect you to do that in school. So what's the proper way? They don't teach you, okay, this is how you say it properly. Like, may I? Well, then what's the, like, that's not even the right way to phrase it either, I'd say, because it's like asking. I don't want to be asked anything. Like, if there's something you want me to do, tell me. Just be direct about it. Like, don't be a jerk. But then also, and I've had this conversation multiple times with people, but I'm just trying to convey the idea that a lot of times it's like, oh, do you want to do this? Or can you go set the table? Or can you take out the garbage? I'm just thinking of like things you ask your kids to do. Or like, can you go vacuum? Can you do this? It's like, no. You say, hey, go vacuum the living room. I want it done today. Or like, here's what your list of chores is to do today. You need to do this, this, and this. You're not asking them, hey, I have this list of chores. Can you do this? No. You go, here's what I need you to do. Do this, 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 this. If you're a boss, that's how you get people to do what you want. And, or like you say, hey, I'd like you to do this. I have something I'd like you to do. Are you free right now? Or like, you know what I mean? If it is kind of like you're trying to be, can't think of the word. If you're trying to be nice about it, then yeah, you can be like, well, if you're available right now, or like, and sometimes it depends on the situation, but like when you can get around to it, when you're free, I'd like you to do this, whatever. But then also having deadlines for people, like have expectations. Like, I want you to do this today. I want you to do this in the next hour. I want you to do this here. Like, I want you to do this. Or like when you go to a drive-thru, oh, can I get a this? Like, why are you asking if you can get it if you're gonna pay for it and they have it on the menu? Like, maybe at McDonald's you're like, is your ice cream machine working today? Like, that's a question, but not like, you just be like, I'd like a Oreo McFlurry, I'd like a large fry, and I'd like a this. And then they tell you your total, and then you're like, all right, cool. You just told them what you wanted, and they're gonna give it to you. Like, that's how it is, kind of like, if you can just do that and think about that in different situations. Then also, I guess it depends, like, hey, can you do this for me? Or like, can I get this from you? Like, I was thinking about that too. Like, I got signed out of whoever's Amazon Prime Video account I was using on my PlayStation. I got signed out of, so I can't watch a lot of the shows I used to. But my dad has Amazon, and we were talking about it, and he said, well, you can just use mine. So I was thinking about that the other night. Like, if I asked my dad, if I was like, can I get that password from you? Is that the right way to say it? Like, and then I was like, well, he's my dad, so I can just be like, hey, Dad, can I get the password for your Amazon account? That's not bad, is it? I don't know. Just thinking, like, I got kind of deep into thought about that. Like, well, he's my dad. How do I ask him? And I'd be like, Dad, give me the password to your Amazon. You know, that's kind of weird. Like, I'd just be like, hey, is now a good time to get your password? Or, you know, just different ways to phrase things. Like, think about it a little bit. Because that kind of pisses me off a little bit when people ask me to do things. Like, hey, can you do that? Like, hey, can you go grab that chair? Well, for one, why can't you do it? If you want, and like, if you want me to do it, just say, hey, I'm busy right now. Go grab that chair. Okay, I get it. You're busy right now. You're doing something else. But then, if you equally could go do it, why are you asking me to? Because I'm going to be like, no, and then you go do it. I know how that turns out. If I tell somebody no, they'll go do it because I already knew that they were available to do it. They're just out of convenience asking me to do something for them, which isn't cool. Like, maybe, but then if you're busy, like if I'm busy at work, yeah, I can delegate tasks to people, but not like, you know, if I can do it myself, I will. That's how I feel, and that's what I do. And I think about that, I'm like, well, if I could do this right now, I don't need to ask them. All right, I'll get up and I go do it. Make that decision. I'm trying to figure out how to wrap this up so that I can use my little end title, but really I just want to close and say that just love yourself before anybody else, and then that'll help you get through life. You just need to focus on yourself. Love yourself. Yep. And I'll see you guys in the next video.